Welcome back to the 2023 World Lacrosse Men's Championship presented by Rady Children's Hospital. It is Uganda against Japan. Once again, my name is AJ Cannell. We are thrilled for this upcoming matchup against featuring the number 6 world-ranked team in Japan against the number 40 world-ranked team in Uganda, making its debut this year. There's the head coach for Japan, now Fumi Udo Suzuki, goes by Coach Udo, and was having a chance to catch up with him before this matchup. He feels really confident about his team's chances overall in this tournament, is undeterred from the pre-tournament notion that they could reach their goal of being a top 4 team in this field. And then on the Uganda side, head coach Patrick Oriana, his 3rd World Championship appearance, the first as head coach, the first native Ugandan to lead his team as head coach in the World Championship. The 8th World Championship appearance for Japan, their 2nd game here in Pool B. Uganda making its 3rd World Championship appearance. The only ever African team at the World Championship. There are just 2 teams that have federations in the continent of Africa, and Uganda defeated Kenya 9-8 in triple overtime in the qualifier. We are set to go from Wolf Epic Field. Japan beat France 15-2 yesterday. And the opening faceoff is won by KZ Victor Ishii, who went 8 for 10 in draws against the French. Japan got off to a quick start against France yesterday. Kanaya had 6 goals to lead the way. Tateshi was the other leading scorer. Good ball movement again. That one rings the iron on the shot by Tomoki Umehara. Loose ball for Team Uganda. Japan did a great job on the ride yesterday against France. Their coaching staff say that's a tribute to the individual performance of their long stick middies. And their system is good, but it's very basic, and it's more about individual training in the ride as Uganda loses the ball back. Forced a turnover there without having to do much, but Japan was not necessarily convinced coming into this matchup that preventing Uganda from clearing is going to be the same as preventing France from clearing. They're respectful of the speed on the Team Uganda side. Ukumura flips it to Kanaya. He's being attacked by Max Phillips. Obana toward the sideline. Tough angle shot by Kanaya. Expect lots of possession for Japan like they had yesterday. Tateshi had a total of 9 points to lead the team. Now Goto as they cycle it back around, open look, and that's in for Kanaya. He had a team high 6 goals against France, and he gets Japan on the board. Hiroki Kanaya out of Tokyo and Chiba University. Great look by Ukumura. know, it's striking for those of us that have followed the game of lacrosse, whether it be at the NCAA level in America, whether it be the professional level and the rise of the PLL, or even box lacrosse in the National Lacrosse League. It's been striking the difference between the brand of those games versus the international game, which for many reasons still doesn't use a possession clock or a timer to clear the half-field line. The biggest difference is how much possession matters without a possession clock built in. And that's something that Japan has shown over the first game and now to start this game, how much they can dominate in that asset, in that facet of the game. And Tateshi stings the upper 90 there. Shinya Tateshi into the top right corner. Excellent snipe. And a similar look to what Japan was able to do against France in the early going. Just hoard possession and put a stranglehold on the game early. For Uganda, it's going to be all about, you know, winning some of the smaller battles, making incremental progress throughout the course of this tournament, regardless of how many wins you might see Uganda get. It's about that improvement. Japan is a really tough matchup for this Uganda team to start things out. 3 for 3 already on the face-off. Suzuki will hold. The substitute coming in, Umehara, unaccounted for. That's going to get Uganda sliding, and that's another big-time drive by Toru Morimatsu to make it 4-zip. Morimatsu is a player who has gone all the way around the world to hone his craft as a lacrosse player. He said when he left a comfortable office job to travel to British Columbia and talk his way into joining the Coquitlam Adenacks in Senior B box lacrosse in British Columbia. He said, when I'm 30, I don't want to regret not trying. He played club lacrosse at Cal Berkeley as well previously, so he's played in America outdoor and in Canada in the box game. He scores for Team Japan. It's 3-0, and Japan continues to win these draws, which it's the most underrated aspect of the game coming into the World Championships. It's not the aspect of the game that is thought about as much anymore with the shot clock. But now it's everything. And especially in a mismatch like this on paper, you can see Japan exerting their will with those draws. Kanaya, sidewinder, it's in! He gets it past Alan Amone. Who is a 3-time World Championship participant for Uganda, but on his heels in the early going. Kanaya, who scored 6 in their opener, has already struck twice. So much enthusiasm and warm-ups coming into this matchup for Uganda. You know, they're hungry to make something good happen. Let's see on this draw. It's just been automatic, though, for Ishii. Such an expert at taking the ball. It might be that second effort right there for Uganda, which will be key. Even if they lose out on the opening draw, you can still execute some stick checks. They did, but it was scooped up by Japan regardless. Dai Sato gives it off to Morimatsu and subs out. Sato is a key defensive player. It'll be interesting for Japan. There's probably going to become a moment at some point where the defense will be tested and have to work on its stamina and their ability to hold up, because the offense has had the ball so much in their pool play games so far. Good job defensively by the Ugandan team, but now a flag comes in. They forced a more difficult shot by Suzuki, but it may have come for a reason there. I heard them say cross-check. So it should be a penalty against Uganda for a cross-check. Goes against number 88, Max Phillips, who is from Denver, Colorado. Him and his brother Finn both on the team. Worked it down to the goal line to Obana. He was held off, though, by Uganda. From straight away, great save on the shot by Kanaya. Alan Amone, who's from Kitgum, again making his third appearance in a World Championship. And a great move by Solomon Adio, putting a defender on skates, and Uganda will get possession for the first time. Finn Phillips, Max's brother, passes it around. I think the penalty is about to be complete. Still have only 5 out there. Now a 6th comes on, so they've served the penalty. Swibu Maliga from Kampala, played in the U21s. The majority of this roster comes from the U21 championships last year on the Uganda side, and those are most of their best players as well. Joseph Ngowe takes it, trying to circle it around, and Ngowe into some traffic. One-on-one prowess from Ngowe. There's a rebound off the miss, and a flag flies as the penalty is drawn by Swibu Maliga. Hey, again, it shows you how much possession matters, because first opportunity with the ball coming this late in the first quarter in Uganda, they make something happen. They show what they can do. It just shows you what the Japan coaching staff was talking about when they told me the difference between a top 10 team and potentially a medal-winning team is the details. It's the small things. And you see the small things coming into play right there during this man-up for Uganda with a miscommunication and the throwaway. So with no clearing clock, Japan will likely try and hold this and be patient and not try and do too much until it's back to 6-on-6. Again, is sure most people are familiar with, but could be some new fans to the game watching. Field lacrosse, 10-on-10 sport, but we commonly say 6-on-6, given what's permitted on one side of the field. Running time through most of the first 3 quarters. Obana made the attempt. First to it was Koki Goto. And so Japan holds on to it. Japan making its 8th World Championship appearance. First appearance came in 1994. Sidewinder bounces in for Hiroki Kanaya. He had 6 in their opening game, and he has a hat trick already. Timeout is called for, an official's timeout with 2:50 left in the opening quarter. Kanaya has the hat trick in the first quarter alone.
At more
Welcome back to the 2023 World Lacrosse Men's Championship presented by Rady Children's Hospital. Latter stages first quarter, it's a 5-0 lead for Team Japan as they look to stay perfect in Pool B play. This is day 2 of pool play. There are 5 teams in each of our 6 pools in this championship. And so each team playing the other 4 in a round-robin format throughout the course of the 5 days of pool play. Each team has 1 day off, and that day off came yesterday for Team Uganda, making its debut against Japan today. Japan has been perfect thus far, and Keiji Victor Ishii has managed a clean draw almost every single time. Does it again. Some good pressure being applied against Ishii, who's still stuck out there, but loose ball gets picked up by Team Japan, and on the doorstep, that's in. That was Subaru Tokumasu, a defensive midfielder who winds up scoring off the less than settled situation for Japan to make it 6-0. Tokumasu out of Nippon Sports Science University and hails from Saitama. So might not have been how you draw it up off the face-off. A lot of the defensive players and midfielders were still out there for Japan, but get somebody else a goal that might not normally get to score. Defensive midfielder Tokumasu. Now straight again off the face-off. Hard angle shot by Obana. Again, the first to the ball, closest as it goes out of bounds on a shot, gets it back. So doesn't hurt to take that risk of a hard angle shot if you know you have the support behind. There's a great check behind the cage by Uganda. Flag flies though as Max Phillips was making the effort for the loose ball. He already served 1 penalty today, and I think he's headed back. Finn and Max Phillips, whose father, Jeremy, is on staff as assistant general manager for the Uganda team. They both went to the International School of Uganda in Kampala, and they're originally from Denver, but became involved, got their citizenship, and 2 American-born players who are on this Uganda side to help grow the program. But Max is serving his 2nd penalty. Japan looking to expand on its lead. Switch the field to Kanaya. Sidewinder from Tateshi. Only 20 seconds left in the first. In the midst of this Japan man up. Tateshi, Kanaya, and a great look for Okumura. He refined his off-ball skills just like Morimatsu did by playing in Coquitlam, British Columbia. And that was a finish made for the box lacrosse game. Out of Nanzan University, Yuya Okumura, with 9 seconds to play in the first, makes it a touchdown lead for Team Japan. Japan takes it, but they'll just run out this quarter. About as well as it could have gone for Japan. We saw when Uganda got some possession, they made something happen by drawing a penalty. But Japan scores 7 times in the first quarter, one of the best teams in the entire field. No surprise on the way this one is unfolding, but we're just going to enjoy the day here in San Diego and this opportunity for both of these national teams. We'll come back here to Wolf Epic Field end of the first quarter. It's the 2023 World Lacrosse Men's Championship presented by Rady Children's Hospital. It's Japan in Pool B taking on Uganda. Japan winning yesterday 15-2 against France, out-shooting the French 42-8, winning 15 of the 19 face-offs. And Japan possesses the ball coming into the second quarter and the 7-0 lead over Uganda. You see there the head coach of Team Japan, now Fumi Suzuki, known commonly as Coach Udo, a college professor in Japan who played lacrosse at the University of Tokyo. Japan looking to pick up where it left off. A shot by Goto was stopped by Amone. This is up for grabs. Japan played a scrimmage against Team Canada, and their assistant coaches told me that the thing that was striking about what Canada can do is just the ground balls. And again, it's those small details of the highest level teams that Japan has really worked on to try and break through into a medal-winning contention type of team. We've seen them just smother opponents in terms of possession. Kanaya has got it. That is his 4th goal and his 5th point. It's just such a dynamic Team Japan, and Kanaya is one of the many on the Japan side that has experience coming from the sixes discipline, the 6v6 World Games in Birmingham, Alabama last summer. Especially the attacking players. So many of these guys were in Birmingham, and Kanaya was one of them that led the way in points. He was second on the team in points during that sixes tournament in the World Games. This is brushed over to Yuta Kato to collect the face-off win. Right back to the doorstep. That's in. Sota Hakozaki. He had a hat trick in the U21s last summer in a play-in win against Jamaica. And he puts Japan up. It's 9-0. Ishii wins the draw pretty cleanly, right back to Dai Sato. They haven't really needed the transition game so far in pool play, but Sato is one of their best defense to offense options. He still carries it before he subs off. But really something strategically that's already coming into play here. Was going to wait on this one, quite frankly, until the second half was the plan pregame, but it's already coming into play, is thinking about tiebreakers, goal differential, and basically how to conduct yourself when you have a big lead if you're Japan. As Tateishi uses the pick, gets past his man, Tateishi snipes it again. He had 9 points yesterday. He keeps it rolling. Second goal of the day for Shinya Tateishi. Just the stop and start and the finish. Well, yeah, something Coach Udo was pointing out to me was that, look, you hear about goal differential. And so Japan, their goal is to crack the top 4 at least. And they want the most favorable possible seed compared to the other first place teams if they can finish in first in Pool B to get seeded well going into the winner's bracket. And part of that could come down to goal differential. Now, it's worth keeping in mind is that once you get to 12, once you win a game by 12, that's the maximum that goal differential could be counted in your favor in a tiebreaker situation. So whether you win 12-0 or 35-0, it's no difference as far as the tiebreaker. Now, the one thing that could come into play is that the next tiebreaker after goal differential is goals allowed. So the best possible score for Japan would be anything 12-0 or north of that. So it starts to become more important in this situation, essentially to limit your opponent from scoring once you create a 12-goal margin. So, yeah, long story short of it, the rest of the way we could be talking about that. The imperative for Japan is really to hold Uganda off the scoreboard more so than to score a bunch of goals the rest of the way. Certainly no one's going to complain on the Japan side about pouring in some more goals, but the wisest thing is to prevent Uganda from scoring. Tateshi, good look, and Amone makes the stop against Ukumura. And tough pass, great job handling it by Odongo. Then runs into some trouble. It's flipped behind the back toward no one in particular. Good job holding off the offensive player by Max Phillips there. Again, though, Uganda has issues making the connection on the pass, and Tateshi scoops up the ground ball. Again, just being here is such a victory for Uganda. I was talking to their staff. They were saying that almost every time you get to this World Championship format that it's going to be a challenge in terms of fundraising. And they're just so grateful they could get the donations they were able to get to be here in 2023. We're going to take a commercial break with Japan well out in front, holding Uganda scoreless thus far in this Pool B game. Welcome back to the 2023 World Lacrosse Men's Championship presented by Rady Children's Hospital. Midway through quarter number 2, it's Japan in front 10-0. Teams getting situated on this completely cloudless day as of now in San Diego, California. Temperatures expected to be in the low 70s, and there's expected to be sun all week. All the way through the end of June, the completion of this tournament. Coming off the timeout, another one for Tateshi. One of the top point scorers in the Sixes tournament last summer. Eight players here from the 12-man roster in that Sixes tournament, and Tateshi might lead the way. He's got a hat trick. There is just so much pride for the way that Japan has built their program. And I asked members of their coaching staff, you know, how do you serve as a model for other nations that are looking to develop lacrosse? And they said it really just goes back to the ability to find homegrown talent. And that in certain cycles, you can have success with players born and raised in North America that have heritage, but the way that Japan has been able to develop within their own borders, that's been their biggest key. I know other countries are trying to follow that model as well, but really nobody's done it like Japan. That's why they're on the verge of hoping they can do something special in this tournament. You know, they're kind of the outside looking in of Pool A, the highest ranked team outside of Pool A. Number 6 ranked team. That is in a tough shot by Kanaya. He pours it in. And Japan pouring it on. That's the 5th for Kanaya. Well, he's an example as much as anyone else of the growth of Japan over the last cycle here leading into this World Championship. In 2018, he was also on the team. One of just 3 returning players as Japan has gotten younger, but Kanaya, he wasn't really one of the important guys in 2018. He scored just 6 goals in the tournament. He scored 6 yesterday, matching his entire tournament output, and he has 5 more so far today. So now it's that maximum margin of 12-0. So it really serves Japan the rest of the way. It really comes down to, can you stop Uganda the entire way? Goal differential does not improve in terms of tiebreaker beyond 12 within 1 game. So I wonder if you'll see Japan, especially, you know, we're early, we're still in the second quarter here, but as the game goes along, see what they try and do. They try and slow the game down more. Given how successful they've been with face-offs, there's really no reason to. No need to change your approach at all. Suzuki spins away. Hamone makes a nice stop there. Great hustle there in the corner too. Diving, a face plant by Innocent Anyala to make sure he was first to back that shot up. John Brian Mukaga, he's 1-on-3 right now. Has the speed, though, to break through the first 2. Now facing some further trouble. Makes the feed. And Adio crosses midfield. Tough pass in traffic. Makes the connection there with Odongo, who spins free and holds on to it. So a rare possession for Uganda. Let's see what they can do. Meliga. It's held in by Finn Phillips out of Denver. Phillips also played for a club team in Denver, Team 91 Northside, in addition to attending the International School of Uganda in Kampala. Eliga. Lubanga Kene. Waluku has some momentum. Dodging toward the right, shoots across his body. Didn't get a ton on that one. And Yuta Kato does the honors, clears it into the box for Japan. International rules, once you get inside your offensive zone, then you cannot go over and back. But keep in mind that when you cross the midfield threshold, you can go back to the other side as long as you haven't pierced your own offensive zone yet. Rules slightly altered in this international game still. And a big part of it is, it's, you know, a team like Uganda, you think about how they've trained, and they're not coming from a place where they're used to training with a shot clock. That's not realistic at this stage. So think about lacrosse and the importance of accessibility and participation. Inclusivity is such a key factor and a key part of the mission of this game. That, you know, for those, oh, I want the shot clock, let's modernize things. It's not as simple as that. From straight on, it's Tateshi ripping another one home. Japan's coaches were saying, look, that's realistic to expect Tateshi and Kanaya to continue to dominate. They did so yesterday against France, and they have a combined 9 goals. Their coaches were saying, though, that as teams look at the film and try and find ways to crack down on Tateshi and Kanaya, that they feel confident about their complementary options and other players to step up. The Kazuki Obanas of the world. Morimatsu as well, Ukumura. Have other options that can step up as they get scouted more, and Tateshi and Kanaya face more defensive pressure. Perhaps France and Uganda not quite up to the task at making those adjustments against those players, but expect Japan to have to find a counter a little bit as this tournament goes along. A closing minute here, second quarter. Morimatsu turns the corner, loses it, and first to the ground ball initially was Hakozaki, but it gets airlifted over to the crease area. This Uganda team has a Ugandan head coach in Patrick Oriana for the first time. They like his leadership. There's a lot of pride involved with having a native-born head coach, but they have American assistants to install some of the finer points tactically as well and help provide the necessary support for Oriana. Japan has one more chance now as Uganda turns it over with under 20 seconds to go in the first half. We'll see if they make a bid for it. Kanaya, thinking about it, makes the pass. Hakozaki fakes it. And Amone got the save. That was borderline. Did it go? The answer is no. That goal does not count. It's waved off by the timing 10. And the official standing nearby. You saw the rebound goal by Obana, potential goal, was just a half-second late. But Japan, besides that, had everything go its way through the first 2 quarters and leads 13-0 here at halftime. We'll come back and recap how the first half transpired at Wolf Epic Field. Second half coming your way shortly as well. Very short halftime here from Wolf Epic, but it's halftime now and a 13-goal advantage for Team Japan. It's the start of half number 2, the 2023 World Lacrosse Men's Championship presented by Rady Children's Hospital. AJ Cannell, glad to have you back with us for this Pool B matchup between Uganda and Japan. Japan with a 13-0 lead after the first half of play, with a combined 9 goals out of Shinya Tateshi and Hiroki Kanaya, both Tokyo natives who went to university locally, both starring last summer in the sixes discipline in the World Games, and they have brought their games to the full 10v10 field lacrosse format. Those two have scored a combined 20 goals through the first game and a half of Japan's tournament. Now again, the objective really in this second half for Japan, when you think about long-term tiebreaker implications, the best thing Japan can do, and I told sort of the whole explanation for this before, best just to simplify it and say the best thing Japan can do is to stop Uganda from scoring at this point. They've already reached their maximum margin of 12 plus. The next tiebreaker after that is goals against. And so Japan is at its best possible score from this game. Uganda has other ideas, though. They can try to get on the scoreboard. Face-off won by Ishii. Morimatsu holding for Japan. Now it's Goto. Umehara on the cut, Suzuki. Junichi Suzuki is on the board for the first time. He had 5 goals in the Sixes win in the bronze game against Great Britain last summer. You talk about Japan's goal of medaling, or at least getting into the top 4, they said. They said top 4 at least was their goal for this year's tournament. Well, they were able to medal in the World Games last summer in that dramatic 1918 win over, as they were referred to in that field, Great Britain. And I got to imagine, considering there are 8 players on this roster who played in the Sixes tournament, the amount of confidence that would infuse. Loose ball infraction against Japan, so Uganda has a chance here. Yosef Ngoe, who in high school split his time between Marblehead, Massachusetts and Milton, Georgia. Moves it along, and Ngoe number 3. Now it's Finn Phillips. Loose ball, tough opportunity over here right near us. And it was touched last by Uganda and Paul Mabusa, who actually played club lacrosse at Vanderbilt for 4 years. They have a couple of, American connections on their team in terms of players, and Mabusa is one of them. He actually is listed as being from Princeton, New Jersey. Currently lives in New York City, works as a software engineer and part-time yoga instructor, number 66 for Uganda. Well, this pool is very top-heavy. You have Japan, which should be able to dominate. The next best team is number 14, Wales. And they're really having success going high against Amone. That was put in once again. I believe that was Ukumura there for Japan. Coach Udo calls him perhaps the toughest player on the team. Hold goes against Japan. Great effort by Martin Komakech, a short stick defensive midfielder being rewarded. Uganda, but some of these players got to participate in the U21 World Championships last summer. One of their assistants was telling me that for a lot of their players, last summer was the first time they had ever played a lacrosse game against people they didn't know. There's only one other lacrosse federation in the continent of Africa. That's Team Kenya, who Uganda defeated in triple overtime to advance here to the World Championship. And remain as the only ever African team that's qualified for the World Championship. But the learning curve, that's the biggest thing. They really hope and expect that they will grow throughout the course of this tournament. Everything is just so brand new for these players. Great job, loose ball, spin move, nearly kind of raked in or kicked in almost by Mukaga. John Brian Mukaga did his best. We've seen some great individual efforts and the ability from some Uganda players to work their way through double teams and still maintain possession. But my original point, talking about the top heaviness of this pool, there's a chance for Uganda the rest of the way. This is always going to be a tough one today, but you do have number 14 Wales. You also have France and Denmark, which are teams that I think Uganda feels like they can play against. Almost nice to get this one out of the way against Japan, have an understanding for what it takes to be at this elite level, and they might be well trained to have more of a fight and an opportunity to compete against teams like France and Denmark later on in pool play. Toru Morimatsu against Komakech. Brought around to Suzuki. Goatee. Umehara. Obana dispossessed in a big way. Innocent Anyala makes that check and forces the turnover. Anyala from Lamwo in Uganda. Komakech working his way through multiple players and shakes loose there. What a move against Sugino, but then they lose the ball. Still, there are some breathtaking displays of individual ability from this Uganda team as they continue to build this thing forward. Japan assistants were interested to see how the height and the length and the athleticism of Uganda would translate to lacrosse. You know, still need to fine-tune the skills, but you can see some of the athletic ability, how it does translate. Francis Odongo, the takeaway and the clearance. Uganda making a few inroads compared to earlier in the game. It's about improving as the tournament goes along and as the games go along. Love to see that from Team Uganda. In 2018, they were able, Uganda was, to get a victory. They finished out the group stage with a win over Luxembourg, which did not qualify this year. Field reduced from 46 to 30 this year with stricter qualification measures in place. Backhand attempt there by Maliga. That would have been a highlight goal. Instead, Shogo Oshima was able to scoop it up. We saw Tokumasu for Japan play the entire 60 minutes in game one. Kick save is made there by Amone. And it goes back to Uganda. This time around in net, it looks like they've sent Tokumasu out for the balance of the first half. And then it's Oshima's show here in the second. Yelang was pursuing, and then good time out there as possession was held by Swibu Meliga. And Uganda uses one of its 2 timeouts in the second half. And so we'll step aside as well with 5 minutes and 12 seconds left in the third quarter. Japan leads Uganda 15-0, but Uganda here in the third quarter. Welcome back. The 2023 World Lacrosse Men's Championship presented by Rady Children's Hospital. Uganda has possession here coming off of their timeout. And Maliga was trapped. And of course, coming off of a timeout or a whistle, you need to keep your distance on the re-entry here. So Uganda has the ability to freely enter into a more settled situation. Lubanga Kene thinking about it. Tries the roll dodge. Lost it. These loose balls that Japan prides itself in. There's a push against Uganda, which was, I think, in the process of losing that one out of play anyway. Koki Goto out of Waseda University. Suzuki. Umehara winds it up. Turned out to be a fake, but he lost it as he tried to wriggle through. Sent toward the sideline, last touched by Japan. This is the third straight World Championship appearance for Uganda. They finished in 40th place of 46 in 2018. 2014 in 34th of 38. They picked up wins over both Korea and Argentina in 2014. So this is a team that has won some games on the world stage before. Finn Phillips. Against Sano. Has him tucked in over toward the corner. Tough pass intended for Ngoe. Turnover back to Japan. We haven't gotten a chance to highlight the Japanese defenders as much. Keep an eye when they are on defense. Number 20, Don Kanayama, one of just 3 returning players from 2018, who's their defensive leader. Really actually similar storyline for both of these teams, both getting considerably younger from the 2018 tournament teams. Both turning the page, feeling like you're seeing the next generation of Japan lacrosse and Uganda lacrosse out there. Goto to Obana. He pays the price. Umehara back to Goto. .95 seconds left in the quarter. Umehara. Goto and Amone is there. They are fighting for that ground ball, and it's Amone who protects it inside his crease. Koma catch. Trying to beat the pressure. He's in a world of trouble. Spins away from multiple defenders and draws the flag. Martin Koma catch. He had 5 white jerseys nearby and makes the nice pass down toward the doorstep. And that is a nice time to take that risk, because you know that even if it doesn't go your way, you have the whistle and the penalty coming. You had John Brian Mukaga he was looking for down there. What a clearing effort from Martin Komakech. Essentially 1-on-5. And a nice save by Alan Amone as well, leading into it. Amone finished top 10 in the tournament in 2018 in saves. Their most decorated returning player. Swibu Meliga. In this man-up situation for Uganda, looking to score for the first time. It's Finn Phillips. Meliga again. And the buzzer sounds. Was a timeout being called for? There's no possession timer. It's the end of the quarter. Well, that solves that. My bad there. Yeah, the quarter coming to a close. Snuck up on me there. But that's the end of 3. Uganda gets to maintain possession and try and score for the first time. It's 15-0 Japan after 3 quarters. Welcome back to the 2023 World Lacrosse Men's Championship presented by Rady Children's Hospital. It's Uganda taking on Japan, as I think they ruled there that shot had been taken by Uganda at the end of the quarter, so a learning experience there, where if they had held on to the ball they would have kept possession, but instead a long pull attempt. The shot by Hiratsuka was saved by Amone. Loose ball contested. And a hold is called against Japan. Japan has gotten a combined 9 goals out of Kanaya and Tateshi. As well as 2 goals from Yuya Okumura. And there's no clearing timer. Mukaga negotiating the far sideline. Switches the field. Aniala thinking about his next move. Pass gets free, but it ends up winding up in the stick of Waluku. And Uganda has gotten some more possessions and some more opportunities a little bit in the second half. Japan goalie has made a combined 3 saves between Tokumasu and Oshima. Japan in transition, one on the goalie, taking a big time hit and finishing is Suzuki. Amone got him upstairs. They announced the penalty as a 1-minute cross check. on Amone. And they're going to choose to have Amone serve the penalty. And so Daniel O'Team, who played in the U21s in Limerick, Ireland, checks in. Six on five here for Japan. Umehara, Goto, Kanaya exchanging with Tateshi. Love that offensive set, and Yuya Ukumura scores. It's going to be interesting to see when Japan first of all faces Wales, which is going to happen tomorrow at 1 o'clock, the toughest team in Pool B. What Wales may have to offer, and then as they advance through this tournament, you know, eventually they're going to have to make some adjustments. It's gone so smoothly for them through these first two games. But what the counter will be to some of these offensive sets and the production of players like Tateshi and Kanaya. But that's now a hat trick for a third different player, Yuya Ukumura. Face-offs 18 of 20 in favor of Japan. This was a deflected pass that'll go out of bounds off of Uganda. Morimatsu for Ukumura. Going Uganda's way. Now, Japan has had some interesting eyebrow-raising moments on the international stage. Mentioned they won bronze sneaking through in the sixes discipline against Great Britain. You go back to January 2020. They played an exhibition game against Team USA, which took place in San Antonio. And Japan led that game 5-3 after 3 quarters. Wound up losing 8-5. Recently played an exhibition in March against the PLL All-Stars in Kanagawa. Hung around for a while, lost 13-6. Scrimmage Team Canada in the days leading into this tournament. They're hoping they can belong in that top tier of teams. Umehara got all of the crossbar. Again, the Japan coaching staff was saying the most striking thing against Canada was their ability to collect ground balls. That's offside, delayed penalty on Uganda. And just the sneaky details of possession keeping. We've seen Japan work on that and exhibit that through their first 2 games. A 15-2 win against France yesterday. And they've really been even better today. How the penalty gets enforced. Announced it against Swibume Liga. And one of the big storylines in this tournament is the upcoming Olympic Games in 2028 and the hopefulness that lacrosse will get an inclusion for the first time in many decades in those Olympic Games, and this is a great showcase for the sport. Uganda in particular is very hopeful of that, as it would potentially give them an opportunity to field an Olympic lacrosse team. And with a much younger team this time around for Uganda, bringing a lot of the U21 players up to the senior team for this tournament. Their coaching staff was saying these guys that you're seeing out there right now for Uganda, these are the future leaders, both as players and potentially coaches one day for Team Uganda. So all eyes, just as much as anybody else from Team Uganda, on those 2028 LA Games. So Uganda kills a penalty. Now it's Ngowe, trying to beat his man. Gets a shot off, and it nearly goes, but just enough from Shogo Oshima to keep it out. Joseph Ngowe, who played at Lindenwood University in Missouri, with the best scoring opportunity of the day for Team Uganda. Japan has shown the ability to be very good on the counter. Probably not necessary at this stage. The most you can help yourself in the goal differential tiebreaker. Good save there by Amone. And first to it, Uganda's Waluku. The most you can do for yourself in the goal differential tiebreaker, which across the different pools will be the best tiebreaker outside of just your placement within a pool. But if Japan competes against other first place teams for seeding, it'll come down to goal differential. Then it comes down to goals against. And the maximum goal differential in one game is 12. So Japan at this stage is best served trying to stop Uganda from scoring because they already have their plus 12 margin. Aron Ialang picks up the ground ball, and Uganda gets its final timeout. This will also serve as our final break. Here in the fourth quarter, just over 4.5 to go. Let's see what Uganda can do with this possession when we come back. Welcome back here to Wolf Epic Field, where we play out the conclusion of Japan and Uganda. Team Uganda using its final timeout to preserve possession, and we'll see what they can do. Joseph Ngowe, who started out with a great shot on their previous possession, got probably Uganda's best scoring chance of the game. Now it's Swibu Meliga. Tries to get free toward the middle. Meliga being pursued by Sano. Meliga beats him, winds it up, and the shot is saved by Oshima. How difficult it must be for a goalie to stay in his rhythm when you're facing infrequent offensive surges, but Oshima makes a clutch save there to maintain the shutout, which you know Japan is hoping to do. With potential tiebreaker implications, you never know. We've seen several plays, and especially noteworthy in a game where one team is down by 17, and one more there by Tateshi. And that'll be his 5th to match Kanaya. Both with a 5-goal, 1-assist line. We have managed to see several plays where a Uganda player has just essentially forced a Japan defender to slip and fall and just put him on skates. We've seen some of that talent from Uganda and the skill that they've honed. You can see some of the promise and potential of this team. But Japan has come close to kind of the pinnacle of what a program is trying to do to develop and build younger players outside North America and create a self-sustaining national lacrosse program. Under 2.5 to go. Uganda in action tomorrow against France. 1 p.m. start time here locally. And they face Wales on Sunday, Denmark on Monday. Would not be surprised at all if Uganda makes one or multiple of those games competitive. Tateshi looking for one more, but Amone stopped it. Great little fake there on the clearing effort. Well done by Koma catch. Now it's loose again. And held on to by Koma catch. Edward Koma catch and Martin Koma catch both playing a role in that clearing process. Oh, can Uganda take advantage of this chance here as slipping and falling is Ngoe. Finn Phillips forces a ground ball, but eventually Japan controls. And Japan calls timeout. We'll see here with exactly 60 seconds left. Japan may try and hold this. Sure, if they do, the officials will put in the stall warning. So we'll see if Uganda can generate one more chance. The upcoming schedule for Japan, they play Wales Saturday at 1 o'clock and then Denmark on Sunday at 4. Their off day is on Monday, the final day of pool play, which I'm sure they don't mind because they're gearing up for a lengthy run. They're hoping in the elimination stage and in the winner's bracket stage. And so they get the nicely situated off day at the end of pool play. Here's Uganda, also known as the Lacrosse Cranes, the national bird of Uganda, symbolized on the Uganda flag. Game split between Tokumasu and Oshima in goal for Japan. They're looking to pitch the perfect game. You get the shutout with 60 seconds left and Japan with possession. See if Japan tries to at least make it appear like they're running some offense to avoid the stall warning. As of right now, no warning in effect. We have not seen one the entire game. Ukumura. Close to 30 seconds left. Hara, Obana, approaching 10 seconds. Kanaya, Suzuki thought about it. And as the time winds down, that will do it. Uganda flashing some moments in instances of great lacrosse in its debut in 2023, but a decisive win for Team Japan, 18-0, as Japan stays dominant. The top-rated team outside of Pool A is now a couple of wins away from a perfect pool play showing. So we want to thank our entire crew for being here today at Wolf Epic Field. We'll continue on with more action from this particular field and all day here in San Diego. But for now, AJ Cannell saying so long, as today it was all Team Japan over Uganda.